All right. So you see me or the slide? Because we don't need to see a slide.
Yeah, I just took
Okay,
the
cool.
slide down, Mitch, and good to see you. And I think with you is Thomas. How you
Yep.
fellas doing
This is
today?
my buddy. Yep. Doing good.
And Mitch,
So thank you all for having us. I appreciate that. What's the question, Jeff?
well, I was just going to say, Yotta's got a different approach to energy storage, one that's really compelling. Maybe you can tell us what your product's all about, what makes it different, and what kind of applications it might be most appropriate for.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, what we've looked at here at Yotta is, well, we looked at the C&I market for commercial and industrial, and we looked at how much storage is added to PV projects in the C&I world. And we identified that only 8% of all the projects have storage attached. So that means 92% of all C&I projects have no storage. So we had to solve that problem. That's what we wanted to do. Because storage works, it's great, and people should add it. But what's the biggest question that people have? Where do we put it? And so that's what we sought after to achieve. So figuring that piece out eliminates a whole lot of complicated and expensive things. So what we have, if you want to come in here a little bit closer, what we've done is we've taken our product to be a small form factor. It's modular. And so you can stack, this is our solar leaf battery here. It's a 1 kilowatt hour battery. And we place it right underneath the solar panel. And
So this
you might be
process
thinking, well, that's crazy.
does this
Sorry,
become
Jeff?
part of the ballast solution, essentially?
It does, yeah. So, Thomas, if you want to jump up here, and we'll kind of demonstrate how it goes. We will engineer the weight of the battery into the system. So for a ballasted rooftop system like our demo right here, we will remove the ballast blocks like Thomas was doing, and we will replace it with our battery. So the battery weighs roughly 50 pounds. So we engineer that weight into the ballasted rooftop system. So our goal is to have a net additional weight of as close to zero as possible.
Is this something that you see folks retrofitting existing ballasted racking systems with the battery, or is it pretty much intended for new installations?
Yeah, that's a good question. If you wanted to retrofit, it's possible. However, you have to change out the inverters as well. So our system couples with our microinverter, which is a 4-port microinverter. And we chose a microinverter versus a string solution because of numerous advantages that micros have, down to the panel visibility, but namely safety. So our whole approach to this solution is safety first. So our thermal management system in the battery is kind of our secret sauce to keep the battery safe. It's a system that is always on, it's always working, and it doesn't need to be maintained. So it's a passive system versus an active system. So we're not pumping liquid coolant around, we're not running fans, there's no HVAC system. It's what's called a phase change heat exchange system. So the phase change material, as it heats, it absorbs that heat energy, and it changes state from a solid to a liquid. And all we need is a small temperature change at night called a diurnal shift, where that temperature change at night, that little bit of temperature change, will re-solidify our phase change material. And then the next day, it's ready for thermal management again. And then there's also a unidirectional vacuum heat exchange. So it'll pull that heat out of the battery cells and throughout the back of the battery in the heat exchange area. What all that? Go ahead, Jeff.
I'm sorry, Mitch. It's an interesting technology, and I'm not sure if I've seen any other batteries use that phase change material the way you're using it. It's compelling. I assume that keeps the thermal or the temperature throughout the day. You don't have as much high and low as you otherwise would get. Is that?
Right. So when I said it was always on, that means it's always working. So instead of reaching some threshold and then kicking on your HVAC, it is always on. So you get a consistent temperature throughout the day. And we've done, tons and tons of testing. We've had products in the market for years, and what we've seen is the only thing that raises the temperature of this battery is basically just the heating and discharging of the battery itself. So the ambient air temperatures really have no effect. We just went through UL 9540A testing, and we passed that. Actually, during the testing, which it tries to it incites a thermal runaway event, but we actually didn't even smoke. You could actually touch the battery unit, and it wasn't hot to the touch. So we're very proud of that. It means it's an extremely safe battery, and then on top of that, it is LFP, so lithium iron phosphate, so the safest battery chemistry.
And what's convenient too is since you're putting all your energy storage up on the roof, you don't have to figure out some other location down in a utility room to try to put a big battery system.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we solved, is that where do we put it question. So you've already allocated roof space for your PV system. Why not throw the batteries under there? So therefore, you don't have to figure out where you're going to put a big container outside, or are we mounting batteries to a wall somewhere, or are we forfeiting an entire room for some cabinet batteries? Whatever the case may be, we've got the space on the roof. So, and that's what our system is designed to do. Go ahead, I see you have a question.
Yeah, maybe you could just explain what kind of a commercial project might be a good fit for this. Would this be somebody that might be concerned about the power outages when the grid goes down, or peak shaving? What's the target customer?
Yeah, absolutely. So what the system is designed for, sorry, I'm getting a lot of echo from you, Jeff. What the system is designed for is three things. We've got self-consumption, which is great. Time of use arbitrage, that's great. But really what this is going to do for you being an installer and EPC is show your customer how they're going to receive more savings through demand charge reduction or peak shaving. So we've actually integrated with Energy Toolbase. Shout out to Jordan, she's awesome, she's our account manager. And they're going to be utilizing or offering their services for the EMS. So the EMS will actively look at the building and see the loads in real time and dynamically. And as there becomes any sort of event, like an HVAC system kick on, or a piece of machinery in the building kick on, it senses the demand spike from that. It'll discharge the batteries. Therefore, the utility company doesn't see the spike, or it doesn't see as high of a spike, therefore giving the customer more savings. And so what we're doing is we're bringing more value to your PV array. That's our ultimate goal, is to get EPCs and solar companies the ability to win more bids through showing to the customer how much storage actually helps their PV system. So I say this all the time, adding storage will shorten your payback time and increase the term savings of your solar system. So when you're getting, when you give a proposal to a customer, and they're inevitably going to get competing quotes and offers, which obviously don't have our storage system, you're going to win that bid. So you're going to get more business through this. Go ahead, Jeff.
So what you were saying about the work you do with Energy Toolbase, would it be fair to assume that a contractor who might not have a lot of experience doing financial modeling of energy storage, that they could approach you folks working with Energy Toolbase and try to come up with a reasonably accurate financial estimate for that customer?
Yes, that is exactly what we offer as a service, a value add. So we can be as much or as little as the customer may need. So we can offer a full turnkey solution for the end customer, or we can, just be an equipment supplier. We can supply batteries, inverters, which we have inverters in stock, modules if you need it, and we have panel cloud racking as well. And then if you need help with modeling, I can either train you or help you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I just got to know, is it available today? If I wanted to buy the Yotta battery system today, do you have product to ship?
Yes. So we are right now we are sold out of the battery, but we have the inverter in stock. So the inverter, we call it the DPI. It does 240 volt single phase or 208 three phase. And it does that. We have that in stock. We have a 480 version coming out in the near future.
So that's exciting. So is it reasonable to assume one could design the system with the microinverter today, install it that way, add the battery maybe 6 months or a year down the road?
Correct. Yeah, we call that a storage ready. And because the battery is DC coupled, you don't need additional permits when you go back and add the batteries later.
Yeah, that's exciting flexibility to add into the system design. And I know you've got something else that's very photogenic to your right there that I was hoping to show the audience.
Yeah.
Because it's
so right now we're looking at a ballasted rooftop system with panel claw racking, which we coincidentally fit right into the racking tray. And then over here, we have a ground mount system. If you want to pan up a little bit. So this is an Iron Ridge ground mount system. We've got our inverter mounted to the rail here. And then we have our battery mounted to the rails here. We want to pan up just a touch more. Cool. So yeah, we added an additional rail here to get under the ground mount. And then this is mounted to the standard rail.
I know that this probably won't be the big volume for you guys, but I got to say, this is a beautiful looking display. I really find those bifacial modules. If I could put something like this in my backyard with the batteries, I would. It does make me ask the question. I know right now the target market is peak load shaving and time of use arbitrage. Do you envision a situation where that could be expanded to true off-grid support for those commercial projects that might be in those areas?
Right. Yeah, we are starting to work on that solution. So hopefully in the near future, we will have a backup additional hardware to go with this and make it a fully complete resilient solution. We're also adding to our models EV charging. So as the electrification of America goes further and further, we're recommending anyone that has a commercial building add some EV chargers. Don't fall behind. But we can add in savings if you're transitioning from a fleet vehicles from a gas fleet vehicle to an electric fleet vehicle. We can do that. Or if you are trying to bring in an additional revenue stream by charging your customers, we can assist with that as well.
And on that EV charging, because that's a really exciting integration, is that something you can coordinate through energy tool-based modeling also?
We can, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, this sounds like a really, Yotta's doing some innovative things that are unique in the industry, and I'm really excited to learn more about what you're doing because it will help inform a lot of the issues that I'm involved in codes and standards. So thanks so much, Mitch and Thomas. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you guys. I've got one more thing to point out here. We do have some swag giveaways that we're doing in our breakout rooms, so do join us.
And maybe ask my question while you're in there. Temperature limitations. You can install this in Phoenix and somewhere cold too, or got a quick answer there?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. We are good to go in any warm or cold location. Our heater for the battery is an active heater versus our passive technology for the warmer climates.
Great. More on that in your chat room, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you both. All right,
Thanks.
we're going to quickly acknowledge